Whoa. Yo, what up, you guys? Old D-Rod's back, or whatever my name is. Just got done finishing up our quick story for the next Harrius Codex episode. It's fucking weird, but whatever. So is life, right? So is life. So that's kind of where we're at on that. Other than that, well, I don't remember if I said something, but I'm already kind of looking at my second book here. This is Eris's version of it. There's a couple other characters. Just kind of putting it back together again because I've answered that question I said that I was trying to answer, and now I feel ready to go. But in the meantime, we've been kind of doing that whole other on the other channel, the Intuitive Idiots. That's been something else that's been happening as well, where for the first time I'm talking to somebody else and not myself. How strange is that? I'm very cautious as I approach this next tier that I feel is out there in the distance. To put it very simply, I'm just being very trepidatious. There's a part of me that's very nervous about all these stories that I'm telling, what they invoke and where they come from and what they mean and stuff, and I don't know how other people will interpret them. So from the Forgotten series, you know, with the Harrius Codex, and eventually the other stories that will come, I don't really know how people are going to like interpret all that. And the stories are very unique because they keep going inside of another and inside of another. It's kind of Arabian Nights in a sense, and we keep diving into this where I've realized something about what it's going to be. I've always heard people say it's about the adventure, not the destination. And with that being said, I chose to write these stories where it's not cute and wrapped in a bow and easy to understand. The adventure is, since people believe that so much, well, the story's written in such a way where this adventure doesn't answer itself. Because the way I'm approaching the Harrius Codex is how I'm approaching my own awakening or spirituality. My walking away from modern constructs, from religion and all that shit to where I sit now. And it has been a journey that isn't just simple, or I could wrap this up in an episode and kind of give you a crescendo, and I'll put a formula on my life for you so it's easier for you to understand. Like, not that you're asking me of that, I just mean I can't do that. Because the Harrius Codex is written in a code of my own spiritual awakening. And everything about it mirrors that, but it's wrapped itself in a way that you have to do the work for yourself if you want to know what it is. So I've described it some time back that each episode is mirroring dreams that I've had. Dreams that I cannot explain. But when I go through my own dream, through the writing process, so it's like what I basically do is I take my dream, I try to remember it by speaking it, and then I sit down in front of the typewriter, I put a piece of paper in, and I re-explore the dream. I go back into it, and I'm able to make different decisions now, but I try to stay in the limitations of what the dream was kind of saying. Does that make sense? It's like reliving the dream, but a little bit more free. What that's doing for me is it's taking two different worlds, the dream world and the waking world, and I'm blending the line a little bit and going back into it on a new spectrum, you could say. You know, I'm going through it with X-ray vision or something along those lines. I'm choosing a different way to see it, you know, in gamma rays or fucking whatever the fuck else there is. inside of that, it allows me to open it up more. And so I had a dream recently, and this will be a free one I'll give to you. It's in the Harrius Codex. I have to explore it. In the dream, I was with a group of other people, and we were like, I don't know, captured in some sense. And when we were let out of this, like this van that was taking us somewhere, it opened up to this very, very dark forest. Very dark forest. Okay, so you said there's already a theme there, because I dream about this kind of shit a lot, forests and stuff. And we were let loose. And inside the dream, I think I was a woman in this dream too, if I'm not mistaken. But I was also a man. I kind of went back and forth with two different people. And so what happened in the dream was, I had to escape this place. I kind of knew, like, maybe this is a game that's being played on me. So I zoom out real quick in my waking life and say, okay, this is very much Theseus and the Minotaur stuff going on here. I'm being sacrificed to go inside this dark labyrinth. There's some kind of strange thing going on, and it's going to kill me, but I have to solve it, because that's kind of like the vibe I was getting. Let's go back in the dream. So I was with these people, and it's like these strange entities were slowly picking us off. I don't know if they were ghosts. I don't know if they were undead or some sort of twisted, strange, mutated beasts. I couldn't tell you. It was all the above. And they were slowly killing us and picking us apart. And we were running, and you could just hear in the distance all these screams and shouting and people dying and strange sounds of beasts roaming. And we're running around in this dark forest. Pretty soon I was by myself. And as I was by myself, I came upon this woman. She was just there. My guide, I think. And I said, I don't know what's going on. What are we doing? What's the point of all this? And she says, you have to, this is fucking crazy. You have to go through and find all the hidden memories. You got to go and find all these individual things and bring it back together again. There's 78 of them. And there's 79 memories. She had already been to 78. And she was almost done, and I had just started. And it was kind of demoralizing. I was like, oh my God, she's not going to be with me for very long. She's only going to be with me for one memory. And that's it. And so we went side by side. Now, pretty soon it was me and her, and we came upon a couple other people. And so inside of this area, whenever these beasts or things got too close to you, you could run, and there's checkpoints everywhere. And the checkpoints were very well lit little churches. And if you ran inside it, the beast couldn't follow you in there. You know? I don't know if it was a Catholic church, a Protestant, a synagogue, a fucking, whatever the Muslims call their things. I don't know what it was, but I just knew it was a holy place that you could go inside and the beast wouldn't follow. But you couldn't stay for very long. You could only kind of go there for a little bit. And these, I will use a Christian term to make it easy for you. These angelic beings were kind of in there with us, but they kind of had to push us out. And so that happened a few times along the way. It's hard for me to remember like the very specifics until I go through this dream again in the writing. Anyway, I just remember being with a small group of people, me, this girl, and like a small group of people. And we found that like a lean-to, like a small weird shelter. We were able to kind of take shelter in it. And we wrapped ourselves in blankets, and for some reason that kind of kept the beasts at bay. Okay? Now, this was such a like on the nose. This is so on the nose. Even you're going to be like, oh, haha. All I can remember next was, I said, I know, me or the girl, I can't remember, said, I know how to stop this. You have to destroy your phone. You got to destroy it. Because that's how they're getting to you, the strange undead beings. If you destroy your phone, they cannot get to you. And so I just remember smashing the phone, and it freed me. Now, the rest of that dream faded away. That's to be explored later. I know that that's my waking part. So sometimes dreams will give you to the edge of something, and they'll say, okay, the rest of the work is up to you in the waking world. So I know that I got to go do that in the Harius Codex. What was interesting was the dream jumped from that to this woman. This was some time later. She had gotten out of this dark forest, and she was on her own in this, we could just say, post-apocalyptic world. If you've ever played Fallout, it was very similar to that. Walking Dead or whatever people watch now. It's just the world that falls to ruin. I came upon this small village, town, little area, and it was all desolate and quiet, and there was a mist upon the place. And so I was walking through this place by myself, much like Dove was in the beginning of his memories as it started to kind of go into the Forgotten series, if you remember. I happened upon this one story. It looked like a workshop or something. Like maybe it was an old garage at one point. Maybe it was a firehouse, fire station, you know, whatever you want to call those. I couldn't tell, but it was a place that people had worked, and he converted into a home. And you walked in there, and he was like a mad scientist in a sense, because he had all these eclectic things around him. He had some machinery, but he also like had like, you know, candles and a bunch of books on bookshelves, old little machines, trinkets, kind of like an alchemy station. Like he was kind of a wizard on his own. And so I remember reflecting, like he was very, he greeted me. He didn't like, oh my God, who are you? He was just like, ah, hello. And I was like, why aren't those beasts out here? Why aren't the undead? Why is it not here? And he says, it's not going to be here. In some sense, he kind of said, I did something that they're not here any longer. And I couldn't grasp what he meant. Keep in mind, I'm this woman. And all of a sudden, I heard some rustling outside, and I realized that in the dream, this is kind of how dreams are, man, because like, you don't remember things as it's happening. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. For some reason, I was like, oh yeah, there were people chasing me, whoever the fuck they were, younger people, like in their teens or something, or early 20s. And I was like, oh shit, I let him hear. I'm so sorry. He's like, we got to just handle this. We can handle them. And so we fucking went on a spree. Like we had a gunfight. These people had guns, we did, and I was able to help this, I'm going to call him like a druid, because that's what he reminded me of, kill all these people that were trying to kill us. And he's like, okay, we did that. Great. We got to get rid of their bodies, though. We got to get them out of here, because that will invite that shit. Basically, the evil, crazy, ghostly beasts that were in that forest. Like, this will invite them, and we got to destroy their phones. So I remember taking the bodies, piling them up, and we had to put them in the water. And I'll get to that in a minute. And I just remember busting phones. With my stick I had, just busting fucking phones that they had. And around, like, so his workshop was like on the side of a road, but behind his workshop, he had like a yard. But that yard was kind of, again, if you played Fallout, it's like he had found anything to makeshift a wall around it to enclose this area. From like giant cement slabs to trees to old cars, you know what I'm saying? Like just shit to kind of surround his workshop in the back there, because that's probably where he went on to his alchemy shit. But right beyond that was a bog. And it led into like a swamp area, but there was like an island in the middle of that. Okay? I'm explaining that to you because of what happens next. As we were inside his workshop, I heard trucks rolling in the distance, and I looked out the window, and their trucks pulled up, and they were encircling the building as far as they could on at least that one side. And I was like, oh shit, that's like their backup or something. I don't know, this fuck. And the druid guy is like, we're gonna fight them too. We can do this. I was like, okay. To save a lot of time, it was a long gunfight, very drawn out, very climatic, Hollywood shit, you know, like it took a while, but I'm not gonna sit and describe it all to you. And when that was over, there was a woman, the lead woman. the leader of this gang or whatever the fuck they were. I don't know. Older gal, and she ran in and scooped up her son, who in the dream had a pumpkin head. And she ran into the bog and into that island. And I knew, like, well, I got to put an end to this woman. So I was able to high jump over the bog onto the island, crush her son's head, because it was a pumpkin, crush it, and kill her. And as she was dead, I destroyed their phones, and then I took her and put her in the water with the other bodies. And as I was swimming back, I remember the druid saying, like, at least you didn't leave her in the she. That's good. You didn't leave her in this doorway to the other world where the fairies live. And I said, all those evil things, are those fairies? The things in the forest back there, are these people like them too? And he said, those were fairies. Not anymore. And that's when I woke up. And I just remember, like, I sat up, I went out in the living room, hit record, and I tried talking all this out as much as I could so I could go lay back down again. And right now, I'm re-exploring that on my typewriter here. So what can we glean from that? Just surface level. You know, we're not going to go too deep because this just happened this morning and I haven't really processed it fully. Well, there's the metaphor of the cell phone and the undead. People staring at their phones like zombies and shit. And if you destroy it, you're able to wake yourself up and not be tracked. One thing I did gather about the phone was, really interesting concept behind synthetic gods. I'm going to be exploring this in the Harius Codex. This is a spoiler, I guess, whatever. And the idea will be, when the world came crashing down, as it was described in the Harius Codex, there were some humans who integrated with the machine, transhuman shit, and they downloaded their consciousness, their being, inside to a computer. And I said, oh, that's very much the same as the ancient Greek gods. What that means is the beings inside this computer, which you are connected to with your phone, as you hold in your hand right now, those are the gods. The idea of AI is an amalgamation of all human thought that's ever been put on the internet, right? And it just kind of uses a language model to get it out and whatever you're wanting to do with it. I'm like, that's exactly what the old gods were too. And their device was different than we could ever understand. But as us, it's a fucking cell phone or a computer. And the AI is this godlike being, an amalgamation of man into a created source. And I said, the destruction of the cell phones is like throwing away the god of destruction. It's like taking a bunch of holy books and burning them. It's burning a representational idea of what it stands for. So I kind of got that out of it too, and I thought, well, that's very fascinating. That'll be very interesting to explore in the Harius Codex, because if you remember, Harius, as he claimed right from the fucking get-go, was a used vessel of God. He said, I was tricked. I was told I could save people like Jesus. But in reality, I was used and abused, right? It gave me a doorway to explore that. This dream did. That's why it was fascinating. Oh my God. It was one of those moments where I say, when I don't know what to do, I don't even ask my guide. I just let it happen. I'm given that dream. The dream cracks open how I can solve my problem now. Because when I wrote that Harius Codex episode, I didn't fucking know what I was talking about. That was stream of consciousness. Believe me, even when I was reading it back, I was like, what the fuck does this mean? What do I even... What the fuck? I don't even understand this. Like, I felt the same way as probably you do. The next episode didn't make it any easier, and this one's going to complicate it more, but I just know it gave me an answer. Like, okay, here's how we crack that open, and if you do it right, how you can solve your own problem. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about. The whole exercise of the Forgotten series, which is the Harius Codex, is an exploration of my mind in real time. There is no end. Like, I kind of know how it'll end, but just like I kind of know that I'm going to die. in real life. Like, I know it's going to end, but I don't know how. I just know it will, because I'm going to die. That's how it is, the Harrius Codex. And the other one, like, I kind of know generally what may happen, or is inevitably going to happen, but I don't know how it'll get there. So that's what I think you should understand when you're listening to the Forgotten Series and the Harrius Codex. It's just like you're listening to a guy go like, and just fucking try to figure it out in real time and hope to God he's doing it right. Because again, it comes to the idea, it's about the adventure. It's about how you got there, not the end result. And that's what we're doing with the story. And it's been very difficult to do, but as I said, I'm using my own dreams and through my own spiritual awakening to crack this fucking thing open and see what story is hiding inside of it. You know, I would love to make this easier for you. I understand my writing is a lot of telling and very little showing. I'm very well aware of that. I will say things, instead of going like, you know, he went to the deep dark forest, and I tell you he is deathly afraid and he's moving through this forest and then these things are happening and that. I don't do that. I say, I'm afraid because this reminds me of that and that reminds me of this, and I realize that I'm stepping out of my comfort zone and I'm creating my own God. Like, I'm telling, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling you my stories. I don't show and have you come up with that. I don't know why. And then for a while I didn't. And now I'm like, because this is a different kind of story. This is a myth. This is going to teach you. You need to listen to it. You need to heed it. And you need to try to understand what the story is saying, not how you interpret it. That's a different kind of story. At least this is what I'm learning. I'm learning there's levels of stories here. Whether this is right or wrong, I don't know. And this is a story where, this is a tell story, is what I'm going to start calling it. This is not a show story, where I tell you this fun story and you get to, for yourself, decide like, oh my God, what's he thinking here? What's going on in his mind here? Like, no. This is a story where I'm telling you what he's thinking, what he's going to do. Because it's gotta, people get hung up on shit, and I'm trying to break that habit. But get hung up on your shit. Listen to someone else. And whether it's successful or not, I don't know. Again, I'm just a human. I could fucking royally fuck this up, and then the being that's guiding me is like, all right, next person, let's try this again. This guy also failed. I'm sure that's how that goes. Now, funny enough, the Eris story, the one that I'm actually writing over here, that's the show. That's the you figure it out. Because by the time people will read the series of books that I'm writing that take place far after all this stuff, you can use your own imagination to come what's going on. You know, that's the old school story. It's like, it's up to you. It's the tell, or it's the show story. Just kind of where we've been going and how we've been doing this, and it's very, very interesting. It's been very interesting for me nonetheless, just because of all of the insanity that it is. The story is so fresh in a sense of, I don't really know where we're going or how we're going to get there, but it follows my dreams, because you don't go to sleep and know what you're going to dream. You're just like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I may or may not have a dream that I'll remember. And this was one of those dreams that just, it found me at the right time. And man, I wish I could tell you the in-depth version of this dream, but I'm not gonna, because I'm gonna write it and you can read it, and that's the in-depth version. But it was like a fucking movie, man. It was so entertaining, and it lasted so fucking long. It follows in line with what my ancestors said about the other world, about time just kind of shifting. An hour in the dream was like a goddamn lifetime. When I woke up, it was one of those things you wake up like, what time is it? It's only been a few hours. Like, oh my God. I fell asleep like an hour and a half ago. Damn. That dream was really long. because it defies, it's the realm that we moved into. I've talked about this before in the past, where when we talk about the imaginary realm, we're talking about a different mechanism, a different realm that you access inside your mind. And you can turn and gear yourself into that. And now you're in that place. And this imaginary is fucking exactly the same as what Terence McKenna described as his DMT trips. I know he didn't see it that way, but a lot of guys that do drugs don't see the trees through the forest through the trees, whatever. They always do. They always get caught up on the, you got to take the substance to get here. Like, no, you don't. That's one way. It's like saying you only need one car will allow you to get here. Like, no, anything will. You can walk there. You'll get there slower, but it's okay. So, like, anyway, it's the same place. It's where the unformed lie inside of you. It's where people pull forth things and bring them into the material world. My example always is like the motorized, mechanical, let's go newer, the gasoline engine. That idea was born there, and somebody, whoever invented it, or groups of people invented it, pulled all that out. I have an idea. I want to do this. This doesn't really exist. It's in my mind. I want this to be. From that, boom, birthed out. It's that simple. Someone once thought about the wheel a long time ago. Like, it's like this, and we'll make it. It's just shit like that. You create it in your head, and then you pull it out and make it exist in our world. Just imaginary. That's all it is, man. Like, if you ever listen to Terence McKenna talk about being there, these, I think he calls them machine elves or something, are forming and making something and trying to give to him, but he keeps slipping through his hands. And he says, if only I could pull one of these things out, it would be amazing. It would change the world if I could just pull one of them out. Whatever these beings are making and they want me to make with them. And I'm like, yeah, dipshit, that's exact, because that's where things are made. If you go in there, I mean, that was a raw substance he was talking about, but if you put something inside of it, you can pull out and you have learned something. That's what diviners do, and sages, and shamans. They go in there and they pull out and with their words. What do you think I'm doing right now? You go into this imaginary place and you're just pushing out with words, puking it out. And I'm trying to tell you what the fuck's in there. That's all this is. And that's all the writing is for me. I use the dreams to simply just for me in my life to pull out what I know about myself and my world. And I'm putting it on a screen for you so you can kind of see it. That way you can quietly attach yourself into it in your own way. That's what I'm seeking to quietly do on that other channel with Intuitive Idiots. I'm just quietly trying to invoke the idea of like, this is you, man. You can go in and you can find this too. This is up to you. I'm not going to tell you how. Play the fool, you know. That's the best thing you can do. It's less intimidating. People don't think you're telling them what to do. But yeah, I'm going to end it on that because I'm giving myself a headache right in the front. I am about to begin to, I got it from the typewriter, now I'm going to move it onto the computer for the Harrius Codex, and the next episode shall be up eventually. I don't know, in a month. Who knows how slow I like to work. We shall see. But I will see you in the next one.